Our 20th anniversary this year, and I want to welcome all of you for being here today. There are 46 student poets on this call, 8 teachers and guest speakers, a couple of guest speakers, and a lot of friends and family. So welcome to everybody. On behalf of the Arts Council, I want to say that my colleagues and I are so proud to be sponsoring this event. After 20 years, and in honor of our founder, the founder of Poetry Alive, Mary Louise Cox. You'll be hearing more words about her in a little while, but Mary Louise envisioned this program to honor the voices of emerging artists. So I think that's particularly why we're so excited and honored to have all of you today, because it's not often that we get to sponsor events that really celebrate young voices, and that's what we're here for today. So welcome to all of you. Also welcome to the family of Mary Louise Cox, who are signing on today in honor of their mom and in honor of celebrating all the poets that are here with us. So I also want to give a huge shout out to LMC Media, to Dina and Sean and Matt for pulling all of this together. I find it a bit daunting. We're not at the Emlyn, and we weren't able to gather last year, but we are gathering here this year. So thank you so much for making this Zoom call possible. I wanted to just go over two little stories today, or 2 ideas, and then I'm going to turn you over to our guest speakers, and then we'll get right to the poetry. So the first idea is this. All of you have an anthology, and we're really pleased to share it with you. I'm so delighted with the work that's in here. You student poets have offered us beautiful, beautiful words, and thank you for that. One of the things that I discovered while pulling this anthology together, and I never knew before, was that the word anthology means a gathering of flowers. That's the Greek, ancient Greek etymology of the word. I'd never known that, and I think it's really beautiful. And that idea is what inspired this cover. This cover was conceived by one of our fellow members at the Arts Council. Her name is Melinda Bowie. And inside there's some information about her. You can look her up. But she kind of went with that idea of a gathering of flowers and conceived of this really bold, abstract graphic that I think very much meets the excitement and the youth and the boldness of the poetry within. So I did want to share that idea with you of what the word anthology means and how we got to this cover. So we hope that you all enjoy it and take the time to read what all of your fellow student poets have written. The second idea that I wanted to bring forward is not really an idea, but it's a memory that I have. And it's a memory of the founder of Poetry Live, Mary Louise Cox. Again, you'll be hearing a little bit more about her later. I met Mary Louise when I was 12 years old, so the age of some of our youngest poets today. And she was the mother of a friend of mine, Daryl, a very good friend of mine. And I went into her house, and I'm sharing this story because I think it's relevant to me, certainly for my whole life as a writer, and hopefully to all of you as well, who are emerging creatives as well. So I went into her house, and right next to her kitchen was a room, and the room had a plaque outside, a bronze plaque, and the plaque said poetry room. And this made her so distinct from all the other mothers that I knew. Nobody had a poetry room. And I remember peering in there, and there were stacks of books and a beautiful desk and light coming in and this Tibetan singing bowl. And I just thought, wow, this is a sanctuary. It looked very much like a sanctuary. And it made such an impression upon me when I was young. And that impression has stayed with me all these years. And I'm sharing this with you because of the idea that Mary Louise did not only take care of her objects and her books, but she took care of her creative process by dedicating a space for herself and time for herself to nurture that process. So to all of you, I want to say, make a poetry room for yourselves. And it might not be an actual room, but it certainly can be a space within yourself that you can go to nurture those insights, to develop the inspirations, and to really give yourselves time to create. All of you are starting. We're thrilled that you've already taken on this process. And I'm just here on behalf of Mary Louise, who can't be here today, to say, take care of that special space inside of yourselves. And the world needs your words. So thank you so much for sharing your inner sense of things today. We're really looking forward to being present and listening to all of your words. I just want to go through a few housekeeping things, what we can expect today. We will be hearing from 46 student poets, 2 high schools and 2 middle schools. They'll be presented in a few minutes. Each school will be introduced by its teacher, or one or several teachers, and the students will read. This program, as I think all of you know, is being recorded. So at the end of this program, all of you will be able to share it or to look at it after and to really hear the poetry. On YouTube, it will be LMC-media.org or the YouTube channel for LMC Media. So you'll be able to, this video will live there. You can keep referring to it as you wish. I know that we've rehearsed just a little bit, or you've gotten directions, but I do want to say that there will likely be glitches, and just like the past year and a half, we will bring our humor and patience to all of this, and we'll get through our presentation. At the end of this program, Jane and I will acknowledge some of the people that were instrumental in pulling Poetry Live together for this year. And we're also going to let you know a few other ways that the Mamaroneck Arts Council is going to be celebrating Mary Louise. So that's at the end of the program. In the meantime, thank you all so much, and I wish all of you good luck. And really, thank you so much for presenting today. I am now introducing you to my friend and co-chair, Jane Dorian, and she's going to be helping move this program along. So thanks a lot, Jane.
Thank you, Marina. And good afternoon, poets and teachers and guests. Here we are, spring 2021, and April, National Poetry Month. I am so happy to be taking part once again in our yearly ritual, the tradition of celebrating Poetry Live. I love all things poetry. Poetry reminds us to slow down, to read every word, to pause, to think about what is said and how it is said and what it means as we read a poem. But today, student poets, we are going to listen because you are reading your work. We will hear your voice and the beauty or sadness or humor of your words. Your teachers have prepared you well and laid the groundwork for your success. We admire your courage in tackling the blank page. With vision, passion, and love of language, you have brought forth amazing new poems. The poems are varied in subject and style in this anthology, and it is a magnificent collection. Like Amanda Gorman, our first youth poet laureate in the US, you too will help shape our world with your words. And now we begin the rest of our program. I have the pleasure to introduce the mayor of the village of Mamaroneck, Tom Murphy, who in a video will share his memories and offer a tribute to Mary Louise Cox, our Poetry Live founder. Here is Tom Murphy.
Hi, I'm Tom Murphy, mayor of the village of Mamaroneck. Recently, Mamaroneck lost one of its kindest, empathetic, and enlightened souls when our poet laureate, Mary Louise Cox, passed away. She was not only an accomplished poet, but she worked to inspire others to convey their innermost feelings via poetry. She was a champion of poetry, but also of poets, both accomplished and potential. Mary Louise started Poetry Live in 2002 to inspire high school students to express themselves via poetry. I was privileged to attend many of these programs and was absolutely stunned, not only by the quality of the poetry, but also by the unvarnished, heartfelt honesty that these students were able to articulate. I have always viewed poetry as a beautiful personal song that gifted, evolved souls were able to sing. Sometimes that song resonates with a larger population, but often that song might only connect with a small group of people or even just a solitary reader. What matters most is the soul-to-soul connection. Our friend, Mary Louise Cox, connected with many souls on many different levels. While she may be greatly missed, the work she did here on earth will resonate in our village's collective soul for generations. Her life was, and her memory will be, a blessing to us all.
Thank you, Mayor Murphy, for that heartwarming tribute to Mary Louise Cox. Thank you so much. Next, we are happy to have with us today our guest poet, Elizabeth O'Rourke. She is a resident of the village of Mamaroneck and a member of our Arts Council. She is a published poet and a teacher of poetry. For the past 2 years, Elizabeth has led monthly poetry readings and writing sessions at the Mamaroneck Public Library. In your anthology, you will find Elizabeth's bio, her special message to all the student poets, and one of her poems. So I am so pleased to introduce our guest poet, Elizabeth O'Rourke.
Thank you, Jane, for your introduction and for your work with Marina to help these teachers and poets create a space to share and celebrate their work and each other. I am honored to address the participants of this year's 20th anniversary of Poetry Live program. Now, to you, the keepers and sharers of words, keep noticing. Notice what it is to be fully alive to the moments of daily, ordinary wonder, to the aching growth of grief, to the moments of jubilation, to human connection. Give yourself the time to be in these moments, time to weave your words into strong webs of story. The world needs your entries in the journal of its existence, your musings, your effort to understand, your articulation of experiences, your titles, your line breaks, your ellipses and semicolons. Your writing will blow past political barricades and travel through time. It will unite those who don't know one another, but know that they have had a shared warm feeling or some sadness, some loss in common. This is the power that you have harnessed, and I am so proud and happy that you have. I'd like to leave you with a short poem written by David White called Sweet Darkness, which always reminds me of the absolute necessity of quiet and space throughout the life of a writer. This is Sweet Darkness by David White. When your eyes are tired, the world is tired also. When your vision has gone, no part of the world can find you. Time to go into the dark, where the night has eyes to recognize its own. There, you can be sure you are not beyond love. The dark will be your home tonight. The night will give you a horizon further than you can see. You must learn one thing. The world was made to be free in. Give up all other worlds except the one to which you belong. Sometimes it takes darkness and the sweet confinement of your aloneness to learn. Anything or anyone that does not bring you alive is too small for you. And so, with that last word, writers, a deep and sincere thank you for all you're giving to us this afternoon.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And now on with our program. And our next speaker is Diane Sarna, she is from Fox Lane, and she is going to introduce her to students and introduce herself to you. Okay, Diane, thank you.
Hello, good afternoon, and a special hello to my 8 students representing Fox Lane High School. We're so honored to be here today, and I'm honored to have known Mary Louise Cox for many, many years, since almost the beginning of Poetry Live. I'll be introducing each of my students one at a time, and we're going to begin with Elahe Bahari.
Hi, I'm Elahe Bahari, and my poem is called Your Stop Sign. I've always wondered why we speed when our destination is unknown, why we drive so fast. We step on the gas of time for what? To make the moment last? But snap, in 1 second, you can end up in a crash, whiplashed, thrown through the glass, your remains turned into ash, life gone in a flash. As we drive towards oblivion, do we ever look back? Realize that we're trying to escape the past rather than to get somewhere fast? We drive over the speed limit, outrunning a life that does not merge with our desired path. For fun, we drive around town to linger about the setting of our own doubt. Let's go for a drive. Let's escape our lives. Maybe if we go fast enough, we'll have ourselves a surprise. I try to understand why we are all in a race to win our lost innocence. Why we crave to do more and more, just hop the fence. To take our clothes off, let our guard down, stop playing defense. We try to relax our bodies from being so tense with someone who understands us, with someone we get. Things can feel so real and get so intense. But little do you know, your pricelessness is at their dispense. We try to escape our realities of being young and naive. But at this age, is validation something you really need? From the years and years of being told you are just a child, it probably feels empowering setting yourself free into the wild. In a society that values physicality over mentality, I hope you're setting yourself up for a success and not a long-term tragedy. I wonder, why do we feel most alive when we are the closest to death? We throw ourselves off cliffs just to be caught by a net, drown ourselves in liquor, hoping we can come up for a breath. I can drive a mile with my eyes closed. How much do you want to bet? I'll go home with this man that I just met, fully intoxicated with lust. I'll assume he poses no threat. If I survive tonight, I'll live to tell an epic story that proves why I live life with no regrets. I always wonder why we live life as if we want it to go by in a flash. Why we take the quickest paths, yet want to make this moment, just like the car rides, last, an escape, alas, from a world we cannot surpass, an age we can't help but bash. When we stare into the mirror of reality, we can't help but dash. We want to run as far away from what is real, press the gas. We're not allowed to escape what's real. Might as well do what it takes to make the time pass. Thank you.
Thank you, Elahe. And next, I'd like to introduce Sky Bowie.
I'm Sky Bowie, and this is Summer's End. Let's go to the beach on a Tuesday afternoon in the middle of August, eat tangy pineapple-flavored sorbet under the blazing sun, and trace our names in the sand before the disapproving ocean waves wash away our vandalism in a seashore uproar. If only the world could end now. Like a photograph, we'd be forever fixed in this perfect moment, our faces cemented in candid, ugly laughs, our skin speckled in droplets of sweat and seawater, and tattooed in tan lines, so the shadows of the future could not daunt our hopes of success and belonging in a world so unfamiliar and unforgiving. If the earth suddenly gave up on mankind because we trivialized her persistent fevers and cold sweats, and her flares of scarlet cysts and inflammation were reflected in the burnt orange beams of forest fires, I wouldn't mind if our flimsy piece of film flew aimlessly towards the curious clouds of smoke as the crimson flames of a cruel world closed in on us, and speckles of ember and ash circled the sky and painted the ground. Thank you.
Thank you, Sky. Our next student poet is Stephanie DiFiore.
Hi, I'm Stephanie DiFiore, and my poem is called Uncontrollable Flaw. Placing the stones upon my grandfather's lonesome tombstone, trying to pick the ones I believe he would like best, even though I don't even know if he liked stones and don't know which to pick. I wish I knew him more, so I could hear his stories leave his own mouth, but I'm left with the tale of Domenico Ambrosio. My mother beams when I beg her to tell me about him. The tale of a man who loved his daughter and would have loved me the same if time permitted. Do you think you can make silk from the tail of a donkey? A man told Grandpa. The once youthful boy swallowed the insult. His face felt numb. The son of two illiterate parents stuck in the slums of Italy. With time, Domenico would become a paragon, someone to be proud of. He was the silk and the brightest kid in his class. Domenico went to college in Italy and arrived in America. This fine piece of foreign fabric successfully pursued a career as a doctor. His studies are what freed him from the restricting ropes of poverty. Domenico wrote his own destiny from an unpromising blank page. I've heard I'm like my grandfather in more ways than one. This hurts to hear more than it heals. As my mother is able to compare my grandfather and me, I do not share the same ability. My mother had the privilege to know and love him. Pictures are only pictures, stories are only stories. I dream about my life if I had known this fine silk in the flesh, and that is the uncontrollable flaw. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. And now we have Sophia Garcia.
Hi, my name is Sophia Garcia, and my poem is A Taco Queen. I love tacos, but not the kind you see on the side of every interstate, with their stiff shells, wilted lettuce, and grayish meat, an army of imposters. No, I'm talking about the messy kind. Tortillas lightly dipped in grease, fingers burning as I flip them over, meat so spicy it makes my face melt, and salsa dripping down my fingers. Each one a masterpiece in its own right. But none of that compares to the look of frustration on my brother's face as I pile on taco after taco onto my plate, barely pausing to breathe, not with her reputation at stake, the undefeated taco queen. My mother shakes her head, wondering why it's so important to defend a silly title And I don't expect her to understand. It's a matter of pride. He's 11 years older, 11 years more intelligent, 11 years more competitive, 11 years ahead of everything I am today, except when it comes to tacos. So he sits back in his chair, rolling his eyes as I force down another bite, hearing our father's booming laugh and the sizzle of fresh tortillas on the stove. Our sister makes a snide remark, glancing at me with pride, as he squares his shoulders, loading up his plate once again. But we already know who lost. The title has been mine since the day he left, and perhaps I took things too far. But he can't come waltzing in anymore, thinking I'd still idolize him, the brother who was never there. So I eat another taco, because you are no longer in charge here. Thank you.
Thank you, Sophia. And our next young poet is Hannah Getman.
Hi, my name is Hannah Getman, and my poem is called The Man Who Wanted to Show Me the World. I never knew my grandpa as a young man. I only ever knew him as the man who arrived at the airport 4 hours early and chewed really loudly at dinner. I only knew him as the man who wanted to show me the world, while telling the most far-fetched stories I've ever heard. He would say, "Princess Hannah, did you know I was too smart for Jeopardy?" as the salty blue waves crashed on the shore near his house. I would always believe him too, until my mom would say that his stories were about as true as a fairy tale. My grandpa was a bit far-fetched my whole life. Now, I realized that I knew him my whole life, while he only knew me for a portion of his. I only knew him as a man with a belly like Santa Claus and a walking stick, when at some point he was as young as I am today. I wish I could ask him more about what he was like when he was young. I guess I'll always wonder now that he's gone. Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah. And next we have Chloe Hoskins.
Hi, my name's Chloe Hoskins, and my poem's called A Warm Evening. The scattered pieces of bananagrams in my grandma's old living room still lay there after all these months. I remember when she taught me how to play. I was only 11, trying to piece different words together. Just us alone, sitting there, connecting words to words until sundown. The whole world melted away and nothing else mattered. Her smile was beautiful, yet mysterious. She never told many stories about herself, but you could see the depth in her eyes. The warm breeze brushed the wind chimes and brought the soothing, sweet scent of snapdragon flowers through the window. The birds chirping outside sang a light melody as they sat by the pond. Even though the room was full of life, I felt distant, like an outsider peering in. The neutral colors that coated the walls washed away any warm feeling I once had. Her green eyes and pale complexion differed from my brown eyes and tan skin. She let me know I was different. Her words dug deep, like shards of glass that left scars unwilling to fade. We were in the same room, but she was miles away. Thank you.
Thank you, Chloe. Our next poet is Sophie Liebeck.
Hi, I'm Sophie Liebeck, and this is Wishes. I wish I weren't tired all the time. I wish I had something to look forward to. I wish I were talented, but most of all, I wish I were you. I wish I could tell everyone everything that I'm dealing with. I wish I could write a poem that doesn't rhyme. I wish I understood chemistry. I wish I had more friends to pass the time. Sometimes I wonder what you wish, because you have everything you need. You're smart, athletic, funny, but do you ever wish you were me? I think everyone wishes they were someone else, like Icarus who flew too close to the sun. Because everyone is drowning in their own ocean. Everyone is always on the run. Wishes come and go with every shooting star. I'm always careful not to tell because then it won't come true. Maybe I should tell you though, because maybe I don't want it to. Thank you.
Thanks, Sophie. And next we have, and this is our last poet from Fox Lane High School, Jordan Lubinsky.
Hi, I'm Jordan, and today I will be sharing my poem, The Good Days Feel Good. The good days feel good. The air tastes better and the atmosphere lighter. The flowers' bright petals look like jeweled candy from the heavens, and the taste of my water, a drink from the gods. The good days feel good. The scent of lavender drifts through my window, tickling my nose and making me laugh. Ah, the feeling of laughter. It is a feeling unfamiliar to me, but that I welcome with open arms. It's okay to feel down and feel like the world closes in, because it does that often. But it makes the good days feel good. The sun shines down on me and warms my face. The birds in the distance sing a sweet song of victory. The wind celebrates, dancing around me. Its warm air wrapping around me like a shawl. It fills me with love as a tear of happiness races down my face. I smile with my teeth and finally feel alive. Thank you.
Thank you, Jordan, and thank you to all of the poets from Fox Lane High School. And it's now my job to pass the torch over to Mamaroneck Middle School and teacher Jenny Thiel.
Hello. I hope you guys can hear me. My name's Jenny Thiel, and my 8 students from Mamaroneck Middle School will be presenting their poetry. I just wanted to share with you that I loved Mary Louise Cox. I viewed her as a wonderful treasure. I actually met her through Dorothy Saraceno, a colleague at Mamaroneck Middle School, High School, and she knew Mary Louise Cox because they were both on the Mamaroneck Arts Council. And Dorothy would often host these wonderful events, and Mary Louise and I would participate in them. So there could be poetry readings, or Dorothy would assign us like a role for Women's History Month. And Mary Louise and I loved supporting Dorothy. However, my most fond memories was just simple girl talk at the Largemont Diner, where we would get together, the 3 of us, and have fun. And on that note, it is my great pleasure to introduce to you my first reader, Isaac Rabinowitz.
Hi, I'm Isaac Rabinowitz, and my poem is called Constant Colors. The sun sneaks out to the world, blooms, flowers, bathes them in the sunlight. Colors burst from the earth, almost like lava spewing from a volcano. Buds explode, a blue river flows clear. I imagine flowing downstream in a stream of bluebells. The sun fades into darkness. All alone the flowers glow. The northern lights, like the northern lights. As the sun rises, red poppies stand tall, like soldiers on the battlefield. Hibiscus burns into people's minds, a fire contained. Yellow chrysanthemums spread like corn in vast fields. White lilies spread in the darkness, glistening like stars. Lavender lined in rose is showcased like cotton candy at the fair. Thank you.
Thank you, Isaac. Our next presenter is Daniel Golden.
My name is Daniel Golden, and the name of my poem is How Much Are We Really Missing? It was a cold yet heartwarming and accomplished environment. In the aircraft, so many kilometers away from home, sighed an astronaut idly. The rubbers of his suit and metals of his helmet kept him warm. In his mouth, the leftover taste of butterscotch pudding from hours prior. His partner had retrieved a newspaper from weeks past. To these disconnected ambassadors, this was like a daily news broadcast. The headlines read, "He didn't go away." The headlines read, "Vietnam War rages on in the United States," and on the bottom of the page, highlighted for him to see, the man's only son had left early for the grave. Sadness crept over him, piling onto his melancholy. As he stood up and headed for the window, his steps quiet and empty, he watched out the window, stared down at his planet, and muttered to himself softly, holding his hand on his heart, "How much are we really missing?" Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Our next presenter will be Noah Siegel.
My name is Noah Siegel, and my poem is The Eagle Has Landed. The vast black and emptiness never seen before, behind a blue and green sphere like a marble, thinking every human on earth, millions on a tiny dot. The other way, the moon, a gray speck slowly growing, a place where no human has ever been before. In a few short hours, I will arrive, and all around me, the black emptiness of space. Finally, the time arrives. I leave Mike and Buzz behind, and now it's just me and Buzz. I notice we are a few miles off the landing site. I take control from the computer. Alarms are screaming. Computer errors flash brightly. Master warning screeches. 60 seconds of fuel. I can't see through the moon dust. 25 seconds left. Thud. The eagle has landed. Thank you.
Thank you, Noah. Our next poet is Luke Pereira.
Hi, I'm Luke. My poem is The Meltdown. It is a normal day until I hear an earth-shaking explosion. Birds rain down from the sky. The ground trembles beneath my feet. Panic ensues. My coworkers rush to the exit. When I get outside, I see what has happened. The other side of the power plant is in pieces. Terror fills my body like water in a bucket. I sprint to the car. Radiation seeps in. My feet pound the ground. Adrenaline courses. I fumble for my keys. My skin blisters. Friends collapse. My sight fades to black. I fall limp on the cold, hard hood. This is it, the endless sleep. Thank you.
Great job, Luke. Our next presenter.
Hi, my name is Harrison Delaney, and my poem is called Abe's Assassination. It was a cold, frigid night. I walked to the theater. I sat in my comfortable chair. Then I heard the buzz of a bullet. It whizzed throughout the theater like an angry bee, getting ready to sting. Suddenly, women screamed. Men gasped. They yelled, "Abe!" I looked up to the booth and saw Abraham Lincoln, as pale as a blank sheet of paper, blood everywhere. Thank you.
Our next presenter is Bethsaida Lopez Perez. Take it away.
Hi, my name is Bethsaida, and the title of my poem is called Run. I was playing with my sister here in Rome. Our mother watched us close by. Her hair blew in the breeze, her smile now a distant memory to me. A blast of hot wind blew in our faces, and the fire began to roar. Our mother's tunic was lit, her delicate skin turned red. Our father rushed out of the tavern, tackling her to the ground to put out the flames. "Run," they shouted. Over and over they pleaded. Delphi pulled me by the hand and led me to safety. I screamed for my father. I cried for my mother. The air was becoming unbearably hot. We could barely breathe and we had no towels. Behind us, the fire consumed everything, like the flames of the underworld had risen to the surface of the world. We had barely made it to the center of the city, where Emperor Nero's palace stood. Many other civilians joined us from the threat. Nero had raced back from the atrium, 35 miles from our home. He called out for the fire to be extinguished, but by then it was too late. Mater and Pater were gone. Salsad and I have not been the same since. Even though it has been almost 10 years, we have an anger and hatred deep down for Nero, who only returned when the flames threatened his palace. Just like the anger Zeus had for Prometheus when he gave us mortals fire. Nero blamed the Christians and proved to us Romans what a cruel emperor he was. He killed millions of innocents, framing them for starting the blaze, turning them into human torches and burning them to death, just like Mater and Pater died. To this day, I still hear their cries. Thank you.
Excellent job. Our next presenter is Sibune Avito Gray.
Hi, I'm Sibone Avito Gray, and I'm going to be presenting One Small Step for a Man, One Giant Leap for Mankind. Boom, you get launched into the blue. Everything rattles, but you felt this before. A loud hum stays with you throughout the voyage. You grasp the armrest, knuckles cloudy. Buzz looks sick. He's never performed this. You feel a wave of heat, then it suddenly cools. You look out of the small hole. Blackness consumes you. Your eyes adjust. Flecks of white sprinkle the emptiness. You relax and take in this familiar sight. Like a wave, it washes over you. The memory, leaving everything, leaving her. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off. I hear the cheers of my neighbors, but this isn't the end. You move closer, careful not to miss anything. The room feels empty and cold. His warmth lingers, but you can barely feel it. I hoped it wouldn't be like last time. The crackling radio brings me back. It goes eerily silent until I hear his singing voice. My heart melts, and the lamp twinkles brighter as if it too sensed him. Thank you.
Wow. And our last presenter for today is Nicole Papalardi.
Hi, my name's Nicole Papalardi, and my poem is called The Fluttering Butterfly. Another morning has awakened the world. As florists and gardeners start their work, the monarch joyfully visits each cluster of petals, pinks, lavenders, and buttercup yellows. The petals surround the monarch's wings. Tulips sway to and fro from gentle gusts of winds. Bent towards the sun, embrace the rays. A golden walkway lined with tulips guides each visitor who is in their glory, lost among the blooms, acres of little gardens of heavens. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. And now the next school who will be presenting is led by Aaron Shanksky, Mamaroneck High School. Take it away.
Oh, thanks so much. I'm Aaron Shansky. I'm one of 3 teachers who are sharing for Mamaroneck High School, and we're really proud of all of our students today. This is such a great event. So I'm going to introduce one of my students, Ella Flake.
Hi, my name is Ella Flake, and this is my buried little grave. We were told to soar and fly with ease. I thought it would be a breeze. Of course I was wrong. We were told that we have big pockets to fill, but what if I have no pockets at all, but just a jagged pile of stone? Stone that keeps my feet buried into the ground. Stone that keeps my mind heavy. Will I ever reach the clouds, or will I stay forever lying down? How will I ever find a way to escape out of my buried little grave? My hands turned into little scoops, scooping through the roots, scooping through the earth, clawing and fighting my way out. My eyes start to squint, squinting because the sun's beam is as yellow, bright, and alive as a phoenix soaring through the sky. I force them open to admire the beauty, which is the earth. As I rise, I realize I feel like a light, fluffy cloud, as well as feeling the heaviness of my pockets filling to the brim with soil. Thank you.
And now I'll pass it on to my colleague, Maria Fairbairn.
Hello, I'm Maria Fairbairn, and I have 7 students, the first of which is Camilla Roman.
Hi, I'm Camilla Roman, and I will be sharing Wandering. I have turned lonely, sad, angry, lost by having seen something that used to be so vibrant and warm turn cold and disappear. But at last, next to you, I am not lost alone. We are together, somehow not lost at all now, just here in the unknown. Still, I tend to slip away, but there is always a place to go, to see, to feel when I'm with you. 1 minute, I am lost. The next, I am wandering with you. We have gone to places where the sun coats the ground, embracing it in a glow, where the wind moves across our faces, slipping in between our fingers. These places, each simple yet full of hidden beauties, these places keep us awake. These places where we are not worrying about having to live. No, we are just being. We are just wandering into the moment. Thank you.
And next up is Kira Walter.
Hi, this is Out of Clay. You treat me now like I'm already dead, like the wounds you have wrought have not festered but ended, like the needle you sew through my skin is untended, and the heart that you've burned is but ash. You forced my prayer still to a God of not flesh, but of clay to be sculpted, of blood to be worshipped, for beauty in roses which can't walk among us, and fragility weaker than sin. I ask why you hate, why you beat and berate me with the knife I once honed with a passion I relished. You're destined to break what I know still you take, your only remorse in the fear which you draw. You swear not by cruelty, but loving concern that could keep you on killing what power is left, and the triumph you're winning, yet only a start, to break away rust in the dream I may harbor, more beauty than life can discover. Yet how to recover, to learn not to die, to preach shame is vanquished in skin, not in bones. For before we had met, my reflection I had never loathed hate like a hunger to starve, nor the thought of a darkness I might breathe from the heart. Thank you.
And now we have Honora Gorninson.
Hi, my name is Honora Gorninson, and I'll be reading Candles. We come in all shapes and sizes, round and long, twisted and burned, for the cold nights we're lit to warm you up, and when we drip after month, we are but polished and replaced. As bright and hypnotizing as we may seem, we are decorations on the trophy shelf. We stay by your side, sometimes condemned, since our wick is declared useless. Though you claim to have found better company, we are the most present behind important times. We are here to comfort during a long sigh in front of paperwork, unable to help as we are incapacitated. Left behind locked doors, we multiply in the open from time to time. Judged by your friends who come in my room to wish for my beauty, but never more. Some argue we have it better. Being nothing for a lifetime doesn't sound that exhausting. From the fire that consumes us, you are simply scared of what may come. Yet by the thought of it, you laugh. Such things are just part of a frivolous imagination. But after all, we are just candles. Thank you.
And now, Michaela Loughran.
Hi, I'm Michaela Loughran, and this is my poem, Ascent to Affliction. She is more than a resume, or so she tells herself every day. She makes herself busy in every way, but when idleness seeps in, it makes everything gray. Be more than the average teen. She knows that they want that, but what does it mean? Does it mean to keep doing what she's never enjoyed? Does it mean being passionless instead of paranoid? She can't stop herself from doing it whenever she's alone, stacking their accomplishments next to her own. She frantically climbs the ladder, higher and higher, never registering she should be guided by desire. And so after high school, she's flung into the world, a girl with no guidance, a purposeless girl. Her purpose has always been pleasing the crowd. She can say that she has. She's made all of them proud. But, breathless, at the top of the ladder, she knows that she's let only their standards matter, while carelessly casting her own aside. She doubts that she'll ever be satisfied. Thank you.
And now, Byron Raja.
My name is Byron Raja, and I will be reading my poem, Toil. They promised freedom for all, while binding us to invisible shackles. Opportunity was guaranteed, they said as they locked the door and swallowed the key to it. Like a magic trick or a joke. Why don't I get to see the light that they do? Is this really fair? Toil, toil away, work for it. You can see the same light we do. Just work. The reward is right in front of you. You can reach it. Oops. They sent the vase full of smiles and flowers flying through the air until it shattered. I tried to scream, but no sounds left my mouth. The pieces and petals spread across the floor like clouds, except the petals were shriveled and grotesque, and the pieces of the vase lay small and hopeless. A broom was tossed in front of me. Clean it up. Clean up your mess. Thank you.
Now we're on to Jillian Mercado.
I'm Jillian Mercado, and I will be presenting my poem, Unaddressed Issues. The United States of America, a flickering light, a bulb that needs to be changed. We claim that we have, that it now shines bright, now a true representation of the home of the brave and the land of the free. Lies. The bulb hasn't been changed in centuries, as every time that light bulb flickers, the lives of countless people of color are taken. Senseless. Every time that light bulb flickers, we are reminded briefly of the unequal treatment of men, women, people across our country. Incessant flickering over the course of centuries, a fixture in our lives so constant that, for the most part, we've learned to ignore. Our country, a country brimming with issues unaddressed. Thank you.
And finally, for my 7th student, Ari Cass Amsterdam.
Hi, I'm Ari Cass Amsterdam, and I will be reading But What of the Beaches? You've all read the story. You know how it goes. How the starbelly sneetches would stick up their nose at those sneetches with no stars if they happened by. That is all over now. Done. Gone. Goodbye. Now there's not one sad sneetch on the beach. No starbelly would make a plain belly cry. They all play together now under the sky. Well, that's what I thought. And I bet you did too. In reality, though, this is simply untrue. Yes, the starbellies no longer name call or jeer when the plain bellies say hi or try to come near. There are still problems, I'm sorry to say, problems at play on this very day. While the sneetches are equal, the beaches are not. But they shared the beach, is what you just thought. Take it out of your mind or the whole thing will rot. They were both on beaches. Yes, that is true. Do you think it was fair? Really? Do you? See, the starbellies found the very best beaches and kept them for only the starbellied sneetches. This happened before all the sneetches were friends, but the problem now is how to make amends. Sorry? Well, that is a mighty strong word. Though talk and no action is talk never heard. The starbellies leave. Well, that is a thought, but what then to do about the houses they bought? The houses? Yes, houses. I nearly forgot. Starbellies paid for the houses they got. It's one big kerfuffle, a big giant knot. Would be easier if we all just up and forgot. But that cannot happen, for that is not fair that all the plain bellies live here but not there. What's the answer? I don't know. I truly do not. Though at least you now know how things got how they got. Thank you.
And now over to Jennifer Spellman to introduce some more students.
Thank you, Maria. It's my pleasure to introduce the next 5 students from Mamaroneck High School. Kicking it off, Katie Loga.
Pushover. I'm always the friend who can never tell her friends no, who never has a preference when deciding what to do during a hangout, who has never been in a fight with her friends because, just as one starts brewing, I'm always the friend who backs down and recedes. I'm always the daughter who can never stand up to her divorced parents, who asks her brother if he can be the one to handle any disputes going on between them, who absolutely despises being caught in the middle because, regardless of my own opinion, I'm always the daughter who can't deal with having to choose with which one of them I agree with more. I'm always the teammate who does what the captains tell her, who obediently follows her coach's instructions, who never gives her teammates advice when they do something wrong because, as my coach has told me before, I'm always the teammate who's afraid of confrontation. Stand up, sit down, be quiet, watch it, stop that. Okay, I'm sorry, you're right. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. And now, Nadine Katz.
Hi, I'm Nadine Katz, and I'm going to be reading Winter's End. Standing in shower as I look upward, as if handfuls of liquid diamonds cascading or droplets from above, of water, by sunlight through a window, comes with sparkle and in warmth does surround me. Soon there will be leaves and grass and birds and perhaps children playing together too. Purple crocuses awaken from sleep and now do peek, green shoots through leaves I see. Every window in my home now open, the outside now glorious as welcome. Cream-colored walls, featureless these past months, appear now creme fresh on a just-baked scone, shaking off their shades of wintry cool. Thank you.
Thank you, Nadine. Next, Liam Spinelli.
Hi, I'm Liam Spinelli, and this is What is a Word? What is the meaning of a word? Is it power, persuasion, endearment, or compassion? Words are merely noises, an opening of our mouths so that we may warble them at one another, so we may attempt to express our own thoughts. Words are simply that, noises. However, it is our communal understanding that the meanings and feelings and reactions we have to these noises is what gives them power. No sword or strategy has impacted as much as a word. When armies and nations are lost, their words still remain. They set the sun on fleeting empires and carry them out into the new world. Mountains, moons, omens, they are merely words, but they have power in their pronunciation. Inherent in their purpose, something we can only understand to a degree, something we can only read and see. Words are things we can never rid ourselves of. They follow us and inhibit us wherever we go. As they grow and elaborate and confiscate what we hope to encapture, they never seem to say the simplest things, like silence does. Words are more than noises. They are volumes, emotions, and confessions. They tie one another and put something into existence. Words, so simple but only to the eye, powerful enough to topple kings and sway masses. They are everything for us. So I ask again, what is the meaning of a word? Are they just the keys I press on a board? Or are they something greater that goes beyond their own spelling? What is a word, I ask, and I wonder, would you even know the answer? Thank you.
Thank you, Liam. Next up from Mamaroneck High School, Elizabeth Rengifo.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth, and my poem is called What the Service Dog Said. Listen, I get that you can't quite shake the feeling, if I know or not, that you aren't leaving me on a spur-of-the-moment, spontaneous decision. Listen, I know you've been wrangling with the thought of this day, of me watching you curiously through the bars of this kennel, wondering why. Please know, I do know. You've watched me grow from puppyhood, all clumsy energy, to the dog I am today. Dog enough to be up for the entrance exam, to be considered for training, my future as a working dog. Though I wasn't yours, you gave me a place to belong. A pack to be a part of, a home to come back to, and I cherish that in my doggish heart. I know we'll never forget each other, because some of my happiest moments were walking with you, shoulder to shoulder, by the neighborhood or towards the beach. Saying goodbye is difficult, I admit. At first, I am conflicted when presented with the test. I have been happy as things were, where I was. Did I need change? But then the words you told me in the car came into my mind like the smell of bacon, that forbidden treasure. Focus, you told me, to do well in the test, to get the golden puppy star. So I clear my mind, brace myself, and with each new challenge, I do my very best. Although I am aware that you are not in the row of people to the side, watching me closely and taking notes, And even though I can't see you behind the piano, they don't want me to get distracted. Listen, I know you are there. Drove here right after your math class. I know that, and that is enough for me. And then the test is done. The strangers confer, and a familiar dog trainer approaches with their resolution. This is goodbye. Let's meet again. Until then, I will scan every stranger's face on every walk, hopeful for a reunion, and carry out my job as a service dog. Listen, I know you'll be proud of me. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And now for our final poet from Mamaroneck High School, John Whitmore.
Hi, I'm John Whittemore, and this is my poem called We Miss You. In our family, the cousins don't do small talk. We do, what's the tea? Who's your new lover? Have you seen Trisha's new video? When cousins come over, we become warriors, Nerf gun warriors. Bertha screams for us to stop the shenanigans. Mama, we're just playing a game. We laugh hard and fast, and once Thomas snorts, we laugh 10 times harder. And with so many cousins, we take risks. You best be quick to get Gertie's last double chocolate chip cookie. We are Italian. We laugh when Conchetta pronounces tomato as tomato, and you best know that the cousins look out for each other. Each of us are as defensive as a mama bear protecting her cubs. We love like every moment is our last, because we know life can grip us by the throat, and sometimes it doesn't let go, ever. We speak through tears sometimes, especially while we watch one of us stare in terror straight at the judge. And now he calls the cell his home. Sometimes our hearts are heavy beneath our chests, but if you listen closely, you can still hear the laughs, and the claps, and the dances, and the giggles we once did together by the smoky campfire. We still sing songs like See You Again. And we think of you, because we will see you again by the same campfire we smelled at many years ago.
Thank you, John. And thank you to all the Mamaroneck High School poets. It's now with great pleasure that I introduce you to Hommock's middle school teacher, Lorraine McCurdy Little.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lorraine McCurdy Little from Hommock's. Great to see you. We have 17 poets to read for you today, and they are representing 2 grades, 8th grade and 7th grade, and Rebecca Streeter's students and Susan Hines students as well. And our first student is David Adams.
Hello, I'm David Adams, and my poem is Through the Fields. And let's start. Through the fields I wander. Look at the dancing flowers. Grass whistles like a composer, water running like a mysterious stranger. I then stop and start to ponder, thinking why we're here. Life just seems weird, what we should and should not remember. There's hatred, murder, and crime. The world is bitter like a lime. Just add a drop of sugar, dear, and you will be just fine. I slowly take my time. I hum and start to rhyme, 'cause life does not stop for anyone. We all run out of time.
Thank you. Our second poet is Gavin Adams.
Hi, my name is Gavin Adams, and my poem is The Life of Being 13. Here's what you need to know about being 13. Anxiety creeps deeply inside. Don't let it take hold. It will look to control you. Schoolwork never ends. Pressure to wear cool clothes to fit in. Bullying in the halls. Friendships change, but not the ones that matter most. Stay strong like a tree in a storm, because each day you'll get knocked down. Work hard at everything you do. You are building a foundation that will one day be your home. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next poet is Lily Adamski.
Hi, I'm Lily Adamski, and my poem is called Pancake Night. Shoes against sidewalk, announcing our presence, we walk through double glass doors. 2 orders of pancakes, an Oreo milkshake, a peanut butter chocolate one, takeout. We wait for our food inside a faded red booth, talking about school, swimming, siblings. Later, a man emerges from the swinging kitchen doors carrying a white bag and a smile. Cheerfully, carefully, we pay, thank them, and leave. As we walk, the streetlights flicker, stuck in the gray between night and day. Down the street, we plop on a bench, open the bag, and peek inside. Spongy, steamy pancakes, cold, sharp milkshake, the flavors melting and swirling together, perfection. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next poet is Luke Francese.
Hi, my name is Luke Franzese. My poem is called Cicadas, inspired by Firefly by Jacqueline Woodson. It's almost August, and yesterday I heard cicadas. You don't see them a lot in the winter or spring. Sometimes in the grass, in the near dark, they come out. You'll hear a little chirping sound. Cicada. It's almost August, and yesterday I heard a cicada chirp near me. First cicada I've heard in a long, long time. Listen to it, my mom said. Listen to it as long as you can. Listening to cicadas thrills me. It reminds me of the summer. Summer means calmness. Long walks in Orienta, seeing rays of sunlight all around, quiet, stillness, fresh, warm air, looking at the little things, the flowers, the trees, the bees, appreciate them, the growth from one season to the next, the improvements and strength you can see. It's almost August, and even though this only comes once a year, savor this moment, remember it, bring this positivity into your everyday life. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you. Our next poet is Sophie Greenspan.
I'm Sophie Greenspan, and my poem is called Souls. One must have an open mind to begin at the soul, to regard the people and their lives instead of the assumption of perfection, and must have practiced a long time to give them the benefit of the doubt, the happiness they will receive, of the trust that lies within, and not to think of any wrongs they might have sinned. If you want to believe the good inside, which is the relationships you could create, full of laughter and the brightness of a smile, all deserve to have, but only some can receive. For the open-hearted people who want to change the world and look beyond the outside to reach the world that lies within, everything that isn't there and everything that is, the open-minded people will then become the bound. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next poet is Victor Interiano.
Hi, my name is Victor Interiano, and I'll be reading you my poem, Pizza. Pizza runs from the corner of my mouth. There's no pizza like this. I've been eating well. The dog's tail is wagging. The dog's eyes are filled with happiness. The dog runs with the wind. The dog is gone from the park. The dark is cold. The birds in the trees all day. They're tweeting. Their colors vibrate with the tree. The poor dog's sad. No toys for him.
Thank you. Our next poet is Andrew Kohler.
Hi, I'm Andrew Kohler, and my poem is The Penguin, inspired by The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. Once upon a morning sunrise, while I wandered, I heard cries, as if someone almost died. I wandered till I find the creator of this noise, I muttered. Distinctly, I remember, in the middle of December, I was an Antarctic explorer in the biggest desert in the world. The screeches and cries became louder. That's when I found Lenore, poor sorrowful Lenore, the poor penguin on the ground. I've never had a bigger frown. Help me, muttered the penguin. There was a bite mark on his leg, blood more red than I've ever seen. The polar bear, he muttered. Poor sorrowful Lenore only had 1 week to live. I must give him the best week ever. I thought to myself. I gave him the best dinner that night. Tuna. Poor sorrowful Lenore. The week passed so very fast. I'm sorry, Lenore. I told him, no, I am happy, thankful penguin.
Thank you. Our next poet is Wyatt Lenegro.
Hi, I'm Wyatt Lenegro, and I'm going to be reading And for That. Outside is where the sun shines and hands its light to us with a smile. Outside is where we play and laugh with smiles as big as the moon. Outside is also a place where the clouds get dark and sad and rain their tears on us. And for that we go inside. Inside. Inside is where the lights shine bright long after the sun rests its head. Inside is where the controllers sit, ready to bring us on an amazing adventure. Inside is also where a place with no sun, but the one that looks through the window. And for that we go outside.
Thank you. Our next poet is Grace Mitchell.
Hi, my name is Grace Mitchell, and my poem is Dog Jumping. Slobber runs from his wide-open mouth. There is no happiness like his. Teeth gleam white, blonde shaggy hairs fly in every direction. Paw marks in the sand, tail like a helicopter blade. Happiness barks escape his mouth, smiles from the crowd as he launches, leaps, jumps from the dock. Splash and swim, a wet sea creature emerges from the ripples. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next poet is Annie Arans.
Hi, I'm Annie, and I'm going to be reading The Meaning of Life. I love to read. I love the way that I can get lost, the way that I am able to forget, the way that the world seems achievable and out of reach all at the same time. But most importantly, I love the things I learn, a lifetime of learning in one paperback, peeling spine and soiled cover. It's different learning than common sense or a math equation. It's bigger, the problems of the world, the mysteries, characters with problems, with lives, bigger and fuller and sadder than mine. And recently, with the world pandemic, with lives ending too soon, I've picked apart the foundation of my favorite books, and I have rethought what a full life has meant. And I've got to say, it's more simple, much more simple than we make it out to be. Being accomplished is a wonderful thing. I'm so proud of those who have won Nobel Prizes, who have sailed around the world, who have touched the moon, and so much more. But that isn't what life is about. It's hard to put a theme on life, to pinpoint the thing that makes us worth it, because life is a lot of things. It's a big, complicated mess, and we only half try to make sense of it. And I recognize that not everything can be labeled, but I owe it to myself to try and figure out what in the world I'm doing here. Why was Annie Arans invented? And who am I supposed to become? What am I supposed to accomplish? How can I play fair if I don't know the rules of my own limits? How can I live my one wild and precious life to its fullest? And what if I don't? That last question, it echoes in my mind at night. It keeps me up at 2 a.m., writer's hour. It breaches my soul, cracks my heart, makes me shed with stress because I'm running out of time. Always. I can never go back. I can never relive. Tick, tick, tick. Never ending, reminding me that I better do my best, better make the best of every day. And I need to make sure that I remember how much time I have, even though my time has just begun. So I can tell you that I'm young, and I haven't lived an entire life, and I am not yet full with dusty memories and married souls, nor can I begin to debate the point of my life. But I am able to say that life is just a moment, and it is going to be messy and exciting and painful, and a journey so vigorously enticing, a book that you can't put down. And you are the author of your life, your own life, wild and precious, one moment. So the point of life is to enjoy it, to be thankful, but also to let go, to feel free, to let the sun wash against your cheeks, to fall into the grass and let your soul dance.
Thank you. Our next poet is Angus Queen.
Hi, I'm Angus Queen, and my poem is untitled. It's inspired by Lines of Winter by Mark Strand. Tell yourself that this is only a visit, that this rocky desert is only a vacation. Tell yourself that the little blue dot on the horizon is your home, that you are foreign to this place. Tell yourself this place doesn't like you, that every villager wishes your death. Tell yourself to run away. But where to? They left you. They went home. There was no escape. The villagers found you. The word of your death has never been heard of, and never will be. And the rocket even forgot to take your body back home.
Thank you. Our next poet is Cortland Thompson Fuse.
Good afternoon. I will be reading Climbing Out of Chaos, inspired by Amanda Gorman. Today, we need to work together. Why? Because we struggle so far apart. We must have a union that is unbreakable. For now, it's more fragile than ever. If people remain cloaked in amnesia against the common good, then our future is murky or hazy at best. We must forgive our opponents and agree to disagree, or else there will be harsher consequences. Our might may not be enough to quell the riots and misinformed mobs. Chaos can be stopped and diminished when we try harder for each other. The struggle is worth it. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next poet is Graham Welsh.
Hi, my name's Graham, and I'm going to read my poem, Still Alive. Just ask yourself, how do I make my situation better? When it is cold as the rain from the air, will I go on or will I quit? Hearing the same sad song, will I find myself sitting in the still life or sitting with snow slipping down my boots under the new moon in a damp, dark alley? Ask yourself, could I do something about this, or will I have to be dragged out of my depression? Will I be able to sit in front of a fire for hours, or will I stumble out in the chill of darkness, just so that I can do something other than sit? If I can't, that's fine, maybe. Just ask yourself, how do I make my situation better?
Okay, I realize I'm so sorry I skipped Autumn Carino, so I'm hoping we can put her up next. My mistake.
Hi, I'm Autumn Carino, and my poem is called "I Rivers," and it's inspired by Amanda Gorman. It hasn't been long since I stared into a doll, wishing to him above, can I please look like this? It hasn't been long since I would look in the mirror, see my coat, and make a fist, the collar of my shirt soaked from I Rivers. It hasn't been long since I whined because straight or wavy hair was so easily touched up, while mine's, the brush would always stay stuck. Still I Rivers. It hasn't been very long since the comparisons. My life coat never fit with others, constant crystalism but no peace. I begin to believe my body is what I should cover. I Rivers. Really not long since I wondered if I could ever be a music artist, but because of my frizz, I mostly denied it and gave myself those ellipsism feelings. I gave a visit to the doctor you can talk to, heard pensive things, but the I Rivers were not ephemeral. And yet it hasn't been too long since I reached an absolution. There are still bits of flashes I see. I now agree that it's okay to look like me. To the last of those I Rivers. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and our last two poets are Lucy Kaplan and Emma Kerwin.
I'm Lucy Kaplan, and this is Invisibility by me and my partner, Emma Kerwin. There is a universe that our palms, that our fingertips are now attached to. Got tagged in a photo, suddenly I feel I don't know you.
Posting things that aren't me. When did I get a new personality? Swiping left, swiping right, everything seems so perfect. Why can't I just have one little moment?
The anxiety piles up just because of one little post. I can't do this anymore. I feel like a ghost.
With guilt and loneliness, I've begun to see that I've started to lose my friends and family.
There is a universe at our palms that we have lost control over. So turn off the devices. It's time to start over. Thank you.
Thank you so much, poets. You guys were terrific. And I will now turn it back over to Marina and Jane. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Jane. Hi, hello. Hi, Jane. Well, thank you so much to everyone. Hi, Jane. I absolutely love that. I'm so touched by all the wisdom and all the sensitivity of the voices out there. Thank you to all the students. Jane?
Yes, it was so moving. It was wonderful to see each face on the screen and hear their words. So personal, so as I said before, courageous, just a wonderful group of young poets. I'm so pleased that we had this opportunity to hear from them.
Absolutely. Thank you. We have a lot of thank yous to offer. Jane, would you like to?
Okay, so obviously a production like this doesn't happen with one or two people. So we are really so happy that we had a lot of help to do this program. So thank yous to LMC Media, to Dina and Sean and Matt for pulling this off. Thanks to Mayor Tom Murphy and the Board of Trustees, because the Board of Trustees actually gives the Arts Council a budget so that we can do things like this. And we are really grateful to them. In addition, Nora Lucas, who is our liaison to the Arts Council, she advises us, yes, assists us when we have questions. So we really, really appreciate her. To Elizabeth O'Rourke, thank you for being our guest poet. Thank you so much for sharing your poetry and sharing your words to the kids. We really, really appreciate you coming here today to be present for everyone. To Melinda Bowie, we thank her for the lovely, wonderful cover. We're all ecstatic about having that. So thank you, Melinda. To the members of the Arts Council who have supported us, who have really given us advice and just been there when we had questions. So we thank them. Each one is very, very special. And we work really well as a group. To Solange DeSantis, thank you so much. Solange in the past has done many of these Poetry Live in-person celebrations. And we thank Solange so much for all that she has done to make us make a better production in the past, and then for all she's done for to honor Mary Louise Cox. And I know Marina is going to tell a little bit more about that. And to photographer Amy Kerwin, who gave us that wonderful shot of Mary Louise. It just looks so just like Mary Louise. It's just a wonderful vision of who she was. And thanks to the graphic designer, Claire Fennessy, for putting this whole book together so it looks like a book, feels like a book, and is a book. Next, I think we'd like to thank the parents. Thanks to the parents for growing and nurturing the readers and writers who have developed into our student poets today. Thank you so much. And thanks to the teachers who year after year inspire a new crop of poets and carry on the tradition of Poetry Live, of this celebration, this festival. So to Diane Sarna from Fox Lane, thank you. To Jenny Thiel from Rye Neck, thank you. To all the teachers at Mamaroneck High School, to Aaron Shansky, Maria Fairbairn, Jennifer Spellman, and Sarah Silverman, thank you. And to the teachers at Homix, Lorraine McCurdy Little, Susan Hine, Rebecca Streeter. We couldn't have done this without you. It's so important year after year to have you be part of Poetry Live and make this day what it was, just like today. And hopefully next year in person at the Emlyn Theater. So stay tuned. That's our hope for next year. And Marina, I think you want to say a few more things to our audience before we say goodbye.
Yeah, just a couple more things. Thank you so much again to everyone. I just wanted to let you know how the Village of Mamaroneck Arts Council plans to continue to celebrate and honor Mary Louise Cox. So we're doing a few things. In 2 weeks, we're going to be dedicating a bench in her name and in her husband's name as well, Fred Rosenberg. They were both big contributors to the arts and wonderful spirits in our community, and they're both missed. So there will be a bench inside a garden that the family of Mary Louise and friends of Mary Louise are offering to the village. It'll be very special. It'll be right across from the library. And in the spirit of Mary Louise having established a room, a poetry room, so many years back, we see this garden as a room, as an enclosure, as a meditative space, and a place to go and just be and enjoy nature and poetry too. So the bench dedication is happening in 2 weeks, and the garden. The Mamaroneck Library now holds a good part of Mary Louise's personal book collection. All of her poetry and writing books went over there. So that's something that will enrich their own collection there. And at the end of your anthologies, there also is a sampling of poetry by Mary Louise. So take a look at that. And that's all. Again, thank you all so much. It was a wonderful day. Thank you for bringing your voices here for an hour and a half. I am really, really touched by hearing all of you. Thank you so much. And hopefully we'll see you next year. Thanks to everyone.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye,
have a wonderful day. Bye.